When we come together to celebrate the liberation of the boys at each reunion, we invite our close friends and family. And when we commemorate Yom HaShoah and the Holocaust Memorial Day, we do so with the wider Jewish community. And indeed, we do so with the whole of the United Kingdom. However, as befits this period of the Jewish year, which highlights a time of personal reflection, so we, the 45-Aid Society, have traditionally held a service here at the Elstree and Boreham Wood Synagogue, when we take a moment to remember, as a group, those of our families who tragically died in the Holocaust and who have no resting place where we can visit as others can at this time of year with their loved ones. The survivors never for one moment forgot about their parents, their grandparents, their cousins, and their friends who perished. And in 1995, they erected the plaque that is behind me and dedicated a Sefer Torah to this community. This Torah remains the main Sefer Torah used on Shabbats at here, the largest Jewish community in Europe. Looking back at the archives and in Sir Martin Gilbert's book, The Boys, he noted that the 50th anniversary of the liberation in 1995 served as a moment when the boys recalled their murdered loved ones prominently at the reunion in London, and followed it with 200 members traveling to Israel for a very emotional gathering with our boys there. Sir Martin's book was published in 1996, and I recall the work involved in the writing of it, as the boys provided their testimonies. For some, it was the first time that they had spoken about their experiences. For others, they had never gone into such detail. It was very much a time for reflection for them. And 25 years later, who can believe it, in 2020, although due to the COVID crisis we are not holding our usual service here, we wanted, 75 years after the moment of our freedom, to send a New Year greeting and good wishes to everybody. From here, a very significant place for us, and for us to remember those named on the plaque that is behind me, and also the other relatives who will never be forgotten. Since 1995, we have done so many other things to celebrate, to remember, and to be a very strong community to one another. And to the first generation in particular who are watching this, we say to you that will continue. We will find ways of remembering everybody connected with the 45-Aid Society and their families. And we know the significance to you, and it is significant to us. And we will never forget that. And that's why we continue to do what we do and why we remain strong. And please may we do so for many years. And I wish you all Happy New Year.
El mole rachamim shochen bameromim hamtze menucha nechoila tachas kanfei hashechina b'malois kedoshim utehorim kezohar harakia mazirim es kol הנשמות של 6 מיליוני היהודים חללי השואה באירופה שנהרגו, שנשחטו, שנשרפו ושנשפו על קידוש השם בידי המרצחים הגרמנים ועוזריהם משאר העמים, יימח שמם בעבור שכל הקהל מתפלל לעיולי נשמותיהם. לכן בעל רחמים יסתירם בססר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, בגן עדן תהי מנוחתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבותיהם, ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימים, ונאמר
25 years ago, I received a phone call from the 45 Aid Society. They said to me, as you're the youngest community and the fastest growing, we'd like to present you with a Sefer Torah in memory of all those who lost their lives during the Holocaust. I wondered whether that, in fact, had a spiritual meaning or just purely and simply they wanted to have a memorial like we go to Bushia Matseva. And truthfully, the answer is it was both. The Sefer Torah that was presented is in fact a living memorial to all those who gave their lives and who lost their lives during the Holocaust. But it's also a very spiritual message. I've had the privilege and the pleasure, and I want to thank all those who have invited me over the years, Mrs. Cohen, and of course, our good friend, the president of the 45 Aid Society. I didn't even have to mention his name. I think everybody would know who I'm talking about, the Knight of Shining Armour. And I said, I'll be delighted. And I've spoken here for almost every year with a different message. I remember reading and seeing a beautiful stone. It was in California, and believe it or not, it was in the Disney World. And there on the wall it says, it's not about today, it's about yesterday and tomorrow. This Sefer Torah refers to yesterday, to all those who lost their lives during this dreadful time. But it's about tomorrow as well. It's about the children and the grandchildren of the survivors who have to understand their responsibility. Whenever I come into this synagogue and I read the words across the plaque behind me, Al Eile ani bochio, over these I weep. Let me tell you, and history has shown it on many occasions, whenever a Sefer Torah was used in order to annihilate the Jewish people, the letters, the spirituality of the Torah flew back to God. The spirits went back. It was only the parchment that was burnt. I want to tell you, I've always maintained this. The lives of all those 6 million plus who were taken from us, it was a physical destruction, but not a spiritual one. And that's why when we read every week from this beautiful Sefer Torah, every time we read another letter, souls come back down and join us in this packed synagogue when we were able to do so. So I want you to understand, please, today, my message is a strong one and an important one. We know what's going on with this pandemic, or we don't know what's going on, truthfully. People are complaining we've got to be stuck in the house and everything. My wife always says to me, just think of what was going on during the Holocaust, when they couldn't go out, where they were starved, there was no food. They didn't have, and toilet paper like they were coming and gathering for during this pandemic. They had nothing. They didn't even have dignity. Our people today have got all of this. What is important, please, in my message is to the younger generation, the second, the third generations who have survived. We always say Zachor, remember, but there's two other words that go with it. Al tishkach, never forget. Yes, we remember our grandparents. We watch photographs of them. But do we remember what they were subjected to? Are we prepared to pass this message over to the next generation, to tomorrow? Or are we only interested in today? As I said, on this wall is this beautiful Sefer Torah. And you will see a photograph of the actual Sefer Torah cover in memory of all those who lost their lives. Please understand that every time we read that Sefer Torah, we are remembering every single precious soul. And therefore, my prayer today on this, the silver wedding, the silver anniversary of this celebration of this Sefer Torah, my message is, bring it to life. Bring your families to life. Remember them, passing over the message that it will never happen again. I pray that the Almighty will grant us something that will take away this dreadful coronavirus, that we'll be able to live again in the society as free people with good health. So let me wish you all, those who have organized this event, to all those in the 45s, and to your families and to the children, to wish you a Shnat Chaim, many, many years of life, but not just with life, but with quality. Quantity is not important, quality is important. And I hope and pray that this plaque will be a true memory. And please remember, it's just a physical piece of metal on wood, but it's the souls that were gone above, who are still with us. Let's bring them back down and talk to them and tell them, we need your help now. You gave your lives for us. Now please, come back and give us life for life. I wish you all a Shana Tova. Thank you.
My dear 45 Aid family and friends, firstly, I would like to thank the management of Bournemouth and Elstree Synagogue for opening the shul and allowing us in today so that we can have our annual memorial service. Like all things at the moment, everything feels surreal, not life as we know it, and we certainly feel that we can't make any plans. I've been wondering what my late father Moshe would have made of a worldwide pandemic and lockdowns and synagogues closing and Yom Tov just not being the same. I think he would have said that you must look forward. We must learn from the past, but look forward to a wonderful future, albeit some of it virtually. The 45 Aid Society has got a lot planned. In October, we will remember the 200 Southampton boys who came to the UK in 1945. We will celebrate Hanukkah together and look forward to a joyous reunion in May. And a message especially for the second and third generation. Let's all keep in touch with our dear 45 Aid family, especially those that live on their own. And for those on their own, please, please let us know if we can help in any way, or even just have a chat together. Over the past few months, it's been a personal privilege to speak to so many of the boys' family who have moved me with their story of survival and love. Let's look forward to a happy and healthy new year. Stay safe and well, and Shana Tova.